Guess what's back?
What's that?
Back again. Caitlin Clark.
Yes, she is.
Tell a friend. Pulled up from the parking lot. The second shot of the game. She had the first 2 points on the foul line. Then she had, then they scored a layup, and then she pulls up from logo, from where the 22 is basically on the Iowa court. Cash.
Pat McAfee just unloaded on Angel Reese, and let's just say it wasn't a gentle reminder. It was a full-blown sports talk smackdown. Why? Because Caitlin Clark dismantled the Chicago Sky like she was doing a tutorial on how to dominate professional basketball. From draining logo threes to dishing out dimes like Halloween candy, Clark reminded everyone what elite looks like. Meanwhile, Reese? She was out there putting in her best misunderstood protagonist audition and still couldn't sell it.
Most of the internet, though, clipped out Angel Reese pushing the Fever Girl in the back.
She was like the villain.
Here's a clip that everybody was fake upset about.
That's not a bad foul. No, Caitlin Clark not finna fight, bro. It's turning they shit up, though. It's just some internet shit, bro. It's just bringing attention to these.
Caitlin Clark was on a mission. Not just to win, but to send a message. A message to every talking head, every social media keyboard warrior, and especially to Angel Reese. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to run this league. And Pat McAfee? He heard the message loud and clear. The moment Clark lit up the sky and sent them back to the locker room with a nearly 30-point reality check, McAfee went off. No filter, no sugarcoating, just truth. If you're here to support Caitlin just like McAfee, drop a CC is the GOAT down in the comments below. Let's go.
She has surpassed everybody in the amount of time that she has played in the WNBA. She fills up every arena in every town that she goes to. Teams have to go to bigger arenas so that they can try to profit off the Caitlin Clark train coming to town. Most 20-point, 10-assist games in WNBA history, which I think you could say, yeah, that's a good game. Like that's how you classify. Vandersloot, obviously, 430 games played, had 10 of them. Diana Taurasi, people talk about it as the GOAT, right?
The GOAT.
The
Right.
GOAT.
You're damn right.
564. She goes to school.
UConn.
Okay. 565 games played. She has 9 20-point, 10-assist games. And then Caitlin Clark, 41 games played. She already has 9 of them.
Let's rewind the tape. Clark drops a triple-double so casually, you'd think it was just another Tuesday. Her first WNBA matchup of the season against Angel Reese, and she puts up 20 points, 10 assists, and 10 rebounds, like it's a warm-up. This wasn't just basketball. This was a masterclass. The Sky couldn't keep up. Clark controlled the tempo like she had the cheat codes, throwing no-look passes and drilling logo-range bombs like she was shooting into a lake.
There was a moment in the game where Angel Reese has a little bit of a push-off on an offensive board. Obviously, she's great at getting rebounds, incredible underneath. Caitlin Clark says, what the hell is
Come
that?
on!
Caitlin Clark says, what the hell is that, to the ref? And then she says, and most basketball people say, that's a take foul. Instead of a layup, we're going to make you earn it. I think Angel would miss one or both of those free throws instead of getting a wide open layup in that entire thing. Angel was pissed off, thought it was a flagrant. Afterwards, everybody said it was a take foul, it was a take foul. But it was very convenient how most of the internet, not all of the internet, most of the internet though, clipped out Angel Reese pushing the Fever Girl in the back, Caitlin pointing at the ref like, what are we talking about here? We're not calling that.
And the impact? Oh, it was felt. Across the country, the Fever Sky matchup pulled in a record-breaking 2.7 million viewers, peaking at over 3 million. The most-watched WNBA game in history. And why? Because Caitlin Clark is the draw. Every time she laces up, eyeballs follow. Fans show up, arenas sell out, jerseys fly off shelves. The league elevates.
She was different, and she seemed to be more exciting than everybody else, but she also was an incredible passer and disher in the way she went about her business. It was like, oh, this girl's different. This woman's different. Then she gets drafted to the Fever, and what she has done for this city and for this team is unbelievable. Obviously, last year at the beginning of the season, nobody wanted to believe, okay?
They still don't.
There's a lot of people that still think there's a lot of other. She is the one.
Angel Reese, on the other hand, she had no answer. She looked lost while Clark danced circles around her defense. And after all the hype, all the energy, all the declarations that she's bringing eyes to the game, Reese finished with a stat line quieter than a library. Meanwhile, Caitlin made sure the scoreboard and the cameras told the real story.
It pisses off everybody whenever we say it, and then obviously it becomes a whole thing because we're a bunch of doofuses and things like that, but This is the golden goose. This is the one. This is the generational, multi-generational player. And we're incredibly lucky that she's in Indianapolis. And she went fucking ham in the opener against the Chicago Sky.
And Pat McAfee. He wasn't about to let this moment be drowned out by spin. As soon as the final buzzer sounded, McAfee jumped on the mic and did what no one else in media seemed ready to do. Say what everyone watching was thinking. This wasn't about attitude. This wasn't about social media drama. This was about basketball. And Caitlin Clark had just dropped the mic.
They clip that out. They just go to right here. Bang. Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese. And then boom. Buzzsaw on the internet about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Ultimately, I think the buzz is good for the WNBA as a whole. I know it's probably not fun to be a part of if you're Caitlin or Angel Reese or anybody else. But in the end, the Indiana Fever win by 100, and Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark have started their second season in the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark is on track to be the greatest of all time.
Then came the now famous foul sequence, the clear take foul, textbook stuff. But when Clark rightfully calls it out suddenly, the internet erupts. But not at the foul. No, at Clark. Somehow, someone edits the play into a highlight hit job. They clip out Reese pushing Natasha Howard moments before and jump straight to Clark making contact. Voila! A new villain is born, and the media eats it up.
Like, there's no argument. Like, I don't understand. Like, people can yell until they're blue in the face. Like, the proof's in the pudding. We've seen all the stuff. And you say, like, it is good for the sport at large, but I think a lot of people get turned on. Like, it just always goes into a race thing. Like, every single time, no matter what, that is always the discussion.
But McAfee? He wasn't having it. He called it exactly what it was, manufactured outrage. He mocked the cherry-picked footage, slammed the lazy editing, and ripped apart the hot takes flooding timelines. This is what Pat does best, expose the spin while everyone else is busy chasing clicks. They clipped the video, he said. They cut out the first foul. And now Clark's the bad guy? Please.
In every league, there's going to be like adversaries. Like, you know, Angel Reese is the foil for Caitlin Clark and vice versa. Like, they don't have to get along. They don't have to like each other. They're competitors. Like, that, this kind of shit happens. But every single time something like this happens, and we have to go right back to
full on.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't get moved at all. So, like, we're not talking about the game. We're talking about that play, and that's it. You know. And then we'll get the stats about her and her 20 points and 10 assist games and the triple doubles and all that, but the discussion always comes back to this.
And McAfee didn't stop there. He went in on the critics who still can't say the quiet part out loud. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent, and they're scared. Scared of how fast she's changed the game. Scared of how undeniable her numbers are. Scared that their favorite narratives don't work when Clark's on the floor. This is the golden goose, McAfee declared. She's selling tickets, breaking viewership records, making teams switch arenas. What more do you need?
When I see the Fever play, I'm like, these are great teams. Los Angeles, I think they got Kelsey Plum out there.
Yeah, they do.
I think they're going to be great. There's a lot of great teams. I'm just talking about watching Caitlin Clark play. Electrifying.
Yes.
Absolutely. She will pull. She will pull that shit up. She will shake, sidestep, step back, not scared. And then she'll do a no-look pass, full court passes. I mean, her teammates have to get used to her passes. I think, because they've never really seen it before. Yep. She's great for the sport. She's great for the game.
He even pulled out comparisons to legends like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird, and yes, Steph Curry. But here's the kicker. None of them moved the needle this quickly. And McAfee didn't just praise her performance. He celebrated her leadership, her poise, the way she's carried the WNBA spotlight with grace while absorbing elbows and criticism in equal measure.
That's basically who's filling up all these arenas. Now, obviously, there's a lot of adult males who are fans and go into it, but you got a lot of little girls that are coming out watching their hero play, and she's selling out every arena. It's great for the sport.
Yeah, she's the most popular women's athlete on the planet right now, I think, and obviously her game speaks for, it's just different.
And about Angel Reese? McAfee was respectful, but surgical. He gave her credit for being part of the spotlight surge. But he wasn't buying the drama. Not the flop, not the post-game pout, not the TikTok sympathy tours. He flat out said what the rest of the league is whispering. Angel Reese is becoming the villain in a saga that only Caitlin Clark is actually winning. And while that villain role might sell jerseys and stir up headlines, it doesn't change what happens between the lines.
We watch the playoffs, you see a hard foul, guy gets up, talk shit. Did Angel overreact? Yeah, probably. It was a hard foul. It is what it is. They squashed it after the game and you moved on. But yeah, all the think pieces and everything after the first game, hey, it's numbers, so I'm sure the WNBA probably likes that part of it. But the other side of it, I think is pretty shitty.
Because between those lines, Caitlin Clark is dominant. She's efficient, she's fierce, and more importantly, she's winning. This isn't a debate, it's a scoreboard. And McAfee hammered that point home like a man who's tired of watching talent get buried under headlines that miss the game entirely. He ended his rant with a now iconic truth bomb. People can yell until they're blue in the face. The proof is in the pudding. Caitlin Clark is her. Not might be. Not one day. Right now. Today. And as for the critics, the haters, the narrative peddlers, and the social media drama queens, they can keep spinning. Caitlin Clark is too busy rewriting records, packing stadiums, and dropping triple doubles on anyone who doubts her.
Watching Caitlin become confident that she's the one out here too is awesome.
Yeah, it's
like press conferences, she's leading. Coach is here. Aaliyah Boston's here.
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell, dog, great player. She's down there. It's like, this is Caitlin's team.
Pat McAfee didn't just deliver a segment. He launched a firework of truth right into the heart of the Caitlin Clark smear machine. And fans, they felt it. The response wasn't mild. It was a tidal wave of agreement from millions who've had it with the relentless shade thrown at Clark. In a media ecosystem drowning in hot takes and recycled slander, McAfee stood up and said what so many are thinking. Enough with the nonsense. The spin cycle is broken, and the game's brightest star deserves better.
Ratings are higher than it's ever been for the WNBA.
Yeah.
Congrats to Caitlin Clark.
That's right.
Nice.
It's crazy how it's always the Fever, seems like. Or it's a game that the Fever game is leading into.
Sure.
It's crazy how that works.
I mean, what are you going to do? Proof's in the pudding, kind
Get a girl out of Iowa
Exactly.
who can pull up from the state next door and light up an entire arena, every arena.
For months, we were told to pipe down, that the whole Clark versus Reese dynamic was overhyped, that it wasn't a rivalry, just two second-year players crossing paths. Cute, harmless, coincidental. But now, that fairy tale is officially in the trash. The numbers are screaming, the crowds are roaring, and the takes are burning like cheap gas. This isn't just a rivalry, it's the most electric storyline in women's sports right now, maybe in all of sports. And it's not because of some media fantasy, it's because Caitlin Clark keeps showing up and redefining what dominance looks like. And naturally, that kind of excellence makes people uncomfortable.
But I think Caitlin Clark sees the bigger picture, wants to leave WNBA better than whenever she got there. And obviously, I think Angel Reese is a part of this with how big her personality is and how well she's known. But it's like, just let's go. It's good for sports, the more eyes on all these things. And I think obviously, as a lot of girl dads in here, it's great that that is where it's headed. But it just needs to be acknowledged by everybody that there is a driver behind it. And it happens to be a bucket from Iowa in Caitlin Clark.
Start with the viewership. The Fever versus Sky matchup, aka Clark versus Reese, round whatever, pulled in a jaw-dropping 2.7 million average viewers. At one point, it peaked at 3.1 million. That's not just impressive, that's record-smashing, history-making, jaw-dropping stuff. And yet, the same pundits who clutch pearls every time the WNBA makes headlines still have the gall to say, well, it's not really a rivalry. Really? Then why is every sports network in the country glued to their seats every time these two share the court?
The argument is stupid. Like you can say whatever you want, but it's very obvious. And I think even the WNBA as like a whole, like their front league office, I guess, if you will, like they might not publicly,
They have publicly, though. They said, hey, all these games are primetime.
Yeah, exactly.
WNBA, all the Fever's games are primetime.
They got more primetime games than the Lakers had.
Yeah.
Definitely more than the Colts have.
Nationally.
Definitely more than the Pacers have.
Yep.
Legit.
It's not just stats, it's symbolism. Clark and Reese represent two very different storylines. One is the polished prodigy, putting up triple doubles with surgeon-like precision. The other plays the villain with flair, getting more headlines for her side eyes and flops than her field goals. One moves the ball in the league, the other moves the conversation. And while there's nothing wrong with a little drama, let's not kid ourselves about who's actually raising the bar.
And she fills up a stadium in an arena more than anybody else. And I had somebody tweet me this the other day before we talked about Caitlin's debut. You better talk about the biggest star in Indianapolis this year or whatever. And it's like, I'm not good at talking about I don't know enough about the WNBA to talk about it, but I do know enough about business. I do know enough about a superstar, and Caitlin Clark is both of those things, and she has the work ethic to back it up. Like, this isn't just going to be a flash in the pan. This is going to be for the foreseeable future because of how hard she works.
But here's where it gets deeper. This isn't war. It's not personal. This is basketball. And yet, some fans and influencers keep trying to twist every Clark-Reese interaction into some broader cultural crisis. Reese plays physical, so what? That's basketball. But the second Clark responds, or heaven forbid, dares to compete, the media spins it into a morality play. Suddenly she's problematic, or entitled, or some other buzzword that falls apart under a single highlight reel of her draining logo threes.
I don't understand. You got so many clips of Caitlin Clark pushing people in college.
Yep.
She doing all this type of stuff. She hit Jordan Canada upside the head last year.
She actually needs anger management. If people actually been watching Caitlin as a person who also needs a little anger management myself, I'm talking about myself. Caitlin's another one who needs anger management.
Yeah.
She's always effing crashing out. She led the league in text. She was one of the top 5 leaders in text last year.
The real issue isn't fouls or flair, it's fear. The old guard, the narrative gatekeepers, the ones who controlled the conversation for years, they're rattled. Because Caitlin Clark is steamrolling their script. An anonymous GM poll just confirmed it. Clark wasn't just named the best point guard and shooting guard, she was voted the single player most GMs would build a franchise around. That's not fanboy hype. That's not social media stans. That's the people with paychecks on the line saying, "Give me Clark." Period.
She's drawing Ohio. She's drawing Kentucky. She's drawing Illinois, Michigan. You got people traveling to Iowa. I mean, Iowa's even traveling You got people traveling to come watch here in Indiana, and then every other arena is the same damn thing. She has home games in every arena she goes to, and it's a wonderful thing. It is a great thing for sports, and it does feel like more and more people are starting to understand.
But while the front offices are handing her the keys, the peanut gallery keeps trying to rewrite the storyline. She's a media creation. She's only popular because, insert excuse here, the louder the applause gets, the louder the deflection grows. And it's painfully obvious. Because when you've got one player drawing ratings, filling seats, and shifting the culture in real time, and people still refuse to give her her due, that's not analysis, that's resentment. And through all of it, Clark remains unbothered. No clapbacks, no cryptic tweets, no petty jabs in the post-game presser. Just buckets, just passes, just wins. She even tried to help Reese up after a hard foul, only for Reese to charge at her like it was personal beef night at Madison Square Garden. Clark didn't flinch. She walked away, composed, classy. The media twisted it anyway because of course they did. But the fans, they saw through it. Social media lit up. Not with hate, but with support, with clarity, with people saying, enough already. Give her the respect she's earned.
Some of the pundits might not be there yet because I think they're OGs around the league. Don't just want to just hand over a torch to a young buck that's coming in. I understand that completely. But it's like at some point, if you were to rally around this and everybody was kind of like to promote this, it's like then your league potentially becomes, and the numbers are saying now the first weekend we're in a good spot for the WNBA.
Yeah, and hopefully like all the other stuff doesn't fall on deaf ears and like everybody kind of acknowledges it too.
Even fans who never followed women's basketball are locked in now. They're watching not just the games, but the game around the game. They're seeing the bias, the double standards, the hypocrisy. One popular podcast broke it down best. You can like both players, but don't lie to yourself. Angel and Caitlin are in two different leagues. One is learning, one's already legendary.
Hey, let's focus on the basketball instead of all the other, BS that can come with sports in general, let alone just the WNBA, just every sport.
So this is a sport coming into, I know the league's been around a long time. A lot of great work by a lot of people to have that league for a long time. I'm not saying that isn't the case.
It takes time to get
boom. But now it's like you're becoming a league, like a big time prominent
young
draw.
in comparison, yeah.
Yeah, and there's going to be some you know, it's a transition that everybody is going to have to deal with.
That's the part that rattles the system. Caitlin Clark didn't just arrive, she detonated. She's doing for the WNBA what Steph Curry did for the NBA, changing the geometry of the game and forcing the whole system to evolve. Whether the league was ready or not, Clark is here, and she's bringing a seismic shift with her. This isn't just about Caitlin versus Angel. This is about what happens when someone new storms the castle with stats, poise, and a fan base bigger than most franchises. The power balance is shifting, and the old narrative makers are losing their grip. Clark is dragging women's basketball into a new era by force of talent, popularity, and professionalism. That's not hype. That's history.
And I'm happy that Indianapolis is in the dead center of it. Love hoops, love hosting people, and Caitlin Clark has brought a lot to our city. And to your point, Ty, and yours, D-Butt, 41 of the 44 games are on national television.
Exactly.
They're on ION Network last year, and it was like the third highest rated WNBA game that they had all season. Most national TV games for a single team in WNBA history, most national TV games in franchise history. It's like, well, obviously the second one would lead to the third one there, but I like that we're just putting every single stat that we have out there. But it's the real deal. They are a draw. And whenever you have a draw, you have to understand that it's a draw, and you have to take advantage of that.
So while the drama swirls and the hot takes multiply, Caitlin Clark stays on mission, dropping triple doubles, elevating teammates, and proving night after night that the future of the WNBA isn't some hypothetical. It's right here, wearing an Indiana Fever jersey and absolutely cooking the competition. Pat McAfee saw it. Fans across the globe saw it. Even the league is starting to accept it. So if you're still pretending she's overhyped, here's the scoreboard. Clark dominated. Reese got humbled. And everyone else? They just got front row seats to a generational shift. If you're here to support Caitlin just like McAfee, drop a CC as the GOAT down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.